You sat stiffly in the principal's office, fingers tapping anxiously against your knee as the clock on the wall ticked far too loudly. The room smelled faintly of old wood polish and authority, its silence heavier than the books stacked across the shelves. Across the polished desk, the principal adjusted his glasses, his gaze fixed on you with the kind of disappointment reserved for repeat offenders. Miss Vine, this is the third time in the past month I have no choice but to call your guardian. Your stomach sank at his words. Of course, it wasn't your fault. It was never. Every time trouble found you, it carried the same name, Jungkook. Your jaw clenched at the thought, and your mind drifted back to the chaos that had unfolded just an hour ago, when the spark of yet another fight had caught fire. The campus courtyard had been crowded during lunch hour, students scattered across benches and stairways, gossip and laughter buzzing like bees. You had been walking with your books pressed against your chest when Jungkook, with that perpetual air of arrogance, brushed past you, deliberately knocking your books to the ground. You bent to pick them up, irritation flaring instantly. What's your problem, Joan? Do you not know how to walk properly without showing people? Jungkook paused, his tall figure casting a shadow over you as he turned. His expression was icy, those sharp eyes glinting with amusement. Maybe you should learn to get out of the way. Not everyone's going to slow down for you. You straightened, glaring up at him. Or maybe you should learn some basic manners. It wouldn't kill you to act human once in a while. A low chuckle escaped him, but it held no warmth. Human, don't flatter yourself thinking you deserved kindness from me. The crowd had already begun to circle, hungry for entertainment. His words struck a nerve, but you were not one to back down. Then stop pretending you own the place. This university isn't your kingdom, Jungkook. For a moment, his expression hardened, the playful arrogance straining into something darker. He stepped closer, his voice dangerously calm. Careful, Vine. You are starting to sound like you want a war. And that was when the pushing started, your hand showing his chest. His grip tightening around your wrist in retaliation. One thing led to another, and soon you were both throwing sharp words and sharp moves until a professor rushed in and dragged the two of you apart. Now seated in the principal's office, your pulse still raced from the memory. You could feel the sting of his words lingering in your chest, colder than his grip had been. The principal's voice snapped you back. I'll be calling Mr. Jones. Since the incident involved him as well, he must be present. You swallowed hard, heat rising in your veins. Out of all people, the last thing you wanted was for Joan Jungkook, the source of every fight, every bruise on your pride, to walk into this office and face you again. The office door creaked open and the atmosphere immediately shifted. Both of your parents stepped in, followed closely by Jungkook's mother and father. The silence became heavier. the air charged with unspoken judgment. You sat upright, hands clenched in your lap, while Jungkook lounged in his chair beside you, legs casually crossed as if the entire situation was nothing more than a mild inconvenience. His indifference only fueled your irritation. The principal cleared his throat, folding his hands on the desk. Thank you for coming. I regret to inform you that this isn't the first incident between these two students. Today, it escalated into a physical altercation, which is absolutely unacceptable for final year students. Your mother's eyes darted toward you, a sharp mix of disappointment and pleading in her gaze. Jungkook's father barely reacted, but his mother sighed softly, as if she were already exhausted by her son's reputation. I expect apologies from both sides. If this continues, disciplinary action will be unavoidable. You shifted uncomfortably, your pride swelling against the demand, but before you could utter a word, your mother placed a hand on your shoulder, her tone firm yet soft. Wine apologized for my sake. You know, his mother and I, we have been friends since before you were even born. The remainder struck like a dull blade. You wanted to protest, to point out how this was never your fault, how Jungkook had provoked you every single time. But your mother's pleading eyes left no room for argument. With a frustrated breath, you muttered the words you despised. I'm sorry. Jungkook's lips twitched at the corners, though his expression remained cool and detached. He glanced at you briefly before bowing his head to the principal. I apologized as well. It won't happen again. His voice was smooth, cold, and hollow, as if the apology was nothing more than a line rehearsed for moments like this. The principal gave a satisfied nod and dismissed the gathering. Parents exchanged polite farewells, though your mother squeezed your hand with a look that silently begged you not to create it in the scene. You stormed out of the office and walked briskly toward your classroom, you're just burning with indignation. Jungkook naturally followed at an unhurried pace, his presence like a shadow you couldn't shake. The moment you slipped into the classroom and dropped into your seat, he leaned against the desk beside you, voice low enough for only you to hear. That apology sounded painful coming out of your mouth. I almost felt sorry for you. You roll your eyes, flipping open your notebook with deliberate force. Don't flatter yourself. I wasn't apologizing for you. I did it for my mother. He smirked faintly, tilting his head as he studied your annoyed expression. Still, you said it to me. Must mean I have got under your skin more than you would like to admit. You snapped your pen against the page, refusing to meet his gaze. The only thing you have gotten under is my nerves. Congratulations, you are officially insufferable. Jungkook's chuckle was low, mocking, but his eyes gleamed with something sharper, something colder. Good, I would hate to be forgettable. And with that, he sauntered toward his seat, leaving you simmering in equal parts anger and reluctant awareness of his lingering presence. The air was alive with laughter and chatter. The university lawn transformed into a sea of black gowns and square caps. It was the day you had waited for your convocation. Camera flashes went off in every corner, capturing teary eyed friends, proud parents, and endless smiles. You stood among your own group of friends, holding your cap in one hand, beaming as you posed for photos, trying to savor the moment. Suddenly, one of your professors appeared, clapping his hands to gather attention. Alright, everyone, let's take a group photograph. Come on, line up quickly. Students rushed to arrange themselves, filling the rows of chairs set up on the platform. You hesitated for a moment too long, and by the time you moved forward, every chair seemed taken. With an awkward smile, you remained standing, adjusting the tassel on your cap, pretending not to notice. Then came the familiar voice: "Why not sit down? There is a seat here." Relieved, you hurried over and sat without glancing behind. It wasn't until your hand brushed against the fabric of the sleeve beside you that you noticed the sheer muscular build of the person sitting so close. Curiosity forced you to turn your head, and your heart dropped. It was him, John Jungkook. Your eyes widened in disbelief. You, you instantly tried to stand, but before you could, his hand shot out, firm fingers wrapping around your wrist. His grip was steady, commanding, not leaving room for refusal. He leaned forward, his breath brushing against your ear, his deep voice low and cold. Sit here, you belonged here all along. Heat surged into your cheeks, your heart stuttering violently in your chest. You froze, unable to retort, and at that precise moment the camera flashed. The photo was taken with you sitting pressed close to him, his arms supplely protected behind you. When the group scattered afterward, Jungkook did not release you. His hold on your wrist tightened as he pulled you away from the laughter and chaos, guiding you down the corridor of the academic building. His silence was stiffening, his face unyielding until he pushed open the door of an empty classroom. The metallic click of the lock echoed, leaving you trapped in the quiet, echoing room with him. Your eyes narrowed as you turned to face him. What are you doing? Have you lost your mind? He stepped closer, his expression unreadable, voice calm but sharp. I want to talk to you. You crossed your arms tightly, trying to shield your nerves. You could have done that without locking the door, John. For a moment, silence stretched, broken only by the faint hum of the air conditioner. Then he exhaled slowly, lowering his gaze before lifting it back to you with an intensity that made your breath falter. I owe you an apology. You blinked, caught off guard. What? He took a step closer. The distance between you is shrinking. I'm sorry for everything, for the fights, the insults, for dragging you into my mess. I wasn't trying to hurt you. Your throat tightened, but pride pushed you to respond. You had a strange way of showing it then. You made my life hell. His jaw clenched and he tilted his head slightly, eyes softening for the first time. I only fought with you because it was the only way to be near you. I didn't know how else to deal with it. Your lips parted, words failing you, the cold, arrogant Jungkook you thought you knew was crumbling before your eyes replaced by a man confessing in raw honesty. You're saying you like me, his gaze locked onto yours, unwavering, more than it should. Your heart thudded painfully in your chest, a nervous laugh escaping your lips. You are unbelievable. You pick fights just because you like me. The corner of his mouth curved faintly, but his voice remained serious. I didn't know any other way to keep you close. If you hated me, at least you couldn't ignore me. You lowered your gaze, your hands trembling slightly. His words had stripped you bare, leaving you nervous and breathless. Then he stepped closer, so close you could feel the warmth radiating from him, his presence overwhelming, his voice dropped, husky and cautious. Can I? You froze, hesitation hitting you. He was asking permission, Jungkook. But before he could finish, his hand lifted gently, brushing your cheek. His touch was careful, almost reverent. Just once, tell me I can. Your pulse hammered wildly against every ounce of reason. Your lips parted in the faintest whisper, yes. In an instant, his lips met yours. The kiss was deep, yet tender, desperate, yet restrained. His hand cupped your face while the other anchored against your waist, as if he were terrified you would vanish if he let go. The world outside gazed to exit. It was only his warmth, his breath, his lips against yours. When he finally pulled back, his forehead rested against yours, his voice trembling with something you had never heard from him before guilt. I'm sorry. The sincerity in his tone left you speechless, your heart betraying you with every frantic beat.